In this video, we are making this adorable night lamp for two little girls' bedrooms. Let's jump right in. For this, I'm using this alphabet mold from Amazon that I got, and I will link it in the description below. And I also got these string lights from Amazon, and these ones are pink. I think they're available in several different colors. For this particular commission piece, I've used pink and purple, but we're doing the pink ones for this alphabet. And first thing I want to do is secure the light into the mold. And for that, I'm going to use this silicone gum. This is by Resin Pro. It's called iGum, and I find it quite handy to use it for several projects. And in this case, I will use this to encase the battery and the switch of the lights, so that when I pour my resin, the resin doesn't get into those bits of the lights. So you literally weigh out the two parts and mix them together nicely. You have roughly about 10-minute working time with this product, and it's like a doughy consistency, and you just make sure that it's well mixed, the white and the yellow, and then you can place it down where you need to. So in my case, like I said, I'm just going to cover the entire battery casing of the lights just to make sure that I don't get any resin into those bits. Now, to do these kind of lights, there are several different ways. This is just me showing you how I like to do mine. Some people like to leave out the battery casing hanging outside. You can do that as well. I don't want any cables, so this is the way I'm doing it. So I've just placed it down onto the case, and I'm just pressing down to make sure that the silicone gum sticks to the silicone mold, and there's no gaps, so that I don't get any resin into the casing. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave it to set and harden for about 10-15 minutes.
15 minutes later.
Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I have checked, and this is now hard, and we are ready for resin. So I've mixed up my J-Diction Officials resin, and I'm adding some white opaque dye into it. So this is going to be the base layer of this piece, and all I want is a white base. So there's nothing too exciting on this layer, it's just a white layer, and we're going to cover up that yellow silicone bit as we pour down. I've just poured enough of the white resin to cover the silicone that we just put down. So once the white resin was cured, it's time to put the string of the light bit into the mold and secure it. And for that, I'm using some UV resin. So this is a kit from J-Diction Officials that I'm using. It comes with a light, with the UV light, and a couple of tools, and the resin itself. So I just like to put a few dots of UV resin around on the string to sort of hold them in place where I want them before we put the next layer of resin on it. Once my string light is secure into the mold, I'm ready to pour my next layer of resin. And for that, I'm using this sort of an interference pink, or I suppose you could say like a white chameleon pink. So I've poured it quite transparent, because when we turn on the light, we do want the light to come through. So make sure you pour this layer to be a bit transparent. Quick torch to pop the bubbles, and okay, so my transparent white that I just poured is now tacky. It's not completely cured, but it's tacky, which is the perfect time to add the fun bits. Now for the fun bit, we are going to add some gummy bears slash candy slash lollipoppy charms into this piece, and I'm going to link these in the description below, but I've got these from Temu, and they are pretty adorable. They do look like little gummy bears. So because my resin is tacky, I'm able to just place these where I want and push them down into the resin, and as the resin hardens, it will hold these in place. just have fun with this part. This is where you can get creative. Like I said, I'm using these for this particular project, but I suppose you could use anything. You could use pearls, you could use flowers, you could use shells. Honestly, like anything. Right, once these are down and you're happy with it, I'm gonna leave the resin to cure and for these to set in the resin. Then we are ready to add our clear resin, and this is the last step of this project, well, more or less. And we're just gonna make some clear resin and fill the mold up all the way to the top.
The next day.
Right, it's the next day. This has now cured and it is time to unmold this. So I'm going to gently pull the mold away from the edges, and probably a good idea to flip this over to make sure that you don't pull out the string light too hard, and I will be able to get the silicone gum off. And that's me just checking to make sure the light works. So next step is, because my resin was not all the way up to the top of the mold, I'm going to use this deburring tool and go over all the sides just to make sure that I take off any sharp edges. I'm also going to go over the little cavity that we made for the battery casing to take off sharp edges of that, because once again, when you get the case out to change battery or switch it on, switch it off, you want to make sure that you don't end up cutting your finger. So yeah, it's a good idea to make sure there's no sharp corners or edges in there. Right, so next I decide I want to add a couple of those candy bits on the top of the alphabet as well. And once again, UV resin is super handy to do this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to place a few on and hit it with my UV lamp and place whatever little bits I want to add. Okay, so now those have cured and I'm happy with the way that looks. My last step is to secure that light casing, and I'm just going to use some double-sided tape so that I can stick down the casing and it's easy to remove when the battery needs changing. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe if you found this video helpful or enjoyable or entertaining or inspiring. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you've enjoyed this project and I will see you in the next video.